Clay is the 10th short story by James Joyce published in the 1914 collection titled Dubliners. This realist fiction is set in the early 1900s in Dublin, Ireland. This modernist short story is from the third-person anonymous point of view. Click the link in the description box below for more Dubliners short stories. The tale begins with Maria, an unmarried, middle-aged woman working at a Protestant charity-run laundry in Dublin. At the end of her workday, she feels excited about her plans to celebrate Hallow Eve with her friend Joe Donnelly's family. Maria raised Joe when he was young, and he now thinks of her as a second mother, though she has always chosen to stay at the laundry rather than move in with him. People at the laundry like Maria for keeping the peace. In fact, the matron calls her a peacemaker. As the other women gather for tea, Maria serves them slices of barmbrack, a traditional Halloween cake, while they chat and joke. A couple of women tease Maria about her age and being single, and although she feels a bit shy and embarrassed, she laughs along with them. Maria goes to her room to change for the Halloween evening at the Donnellys. Looking at herself in the mirror, she remembers her youthful appearance but still appreciates the way she looks now. She catches a tram to buy treats for the Donnelly children and a special cake for Joe and his wife. At one shop, the cashier, annoyed by Maria's slow decision-making, mocks her by asking if she's buying a wedding cake, which makes Maria blush with embarrassment. Though she doesn't let it bother her too much. On her tram ride to the Donnellys, an elderly colonel-looking gentleman offers her a seat and strikes up a friendly conversation about the cakes. Maria seems to enjoy his company. They greet her warmly when she finally arrives at the Donnellys' home. Maria gives out the small cakes to the children, but then realizes that the plum cake she bought for Joe and his wife is missing. She suspects she left it on the tram in her confusion from chatting with the elderly man. Although she feels shame and vexation and disappointment, Joe reassures her that it's fine, and they all move on to celebrate. During the evening, Maria suggests that Joe try to reconnect with his estranged brother, Alfie, and Mrs. Donnelly supports the idea. But Joe quickly dismisses the topic, clearly not wanting to discuss it. Later, they play Hallow Eve games, including a game where each person is blindfolded and touches an item representing their fate. When Maria's turn comes, she blindly picks a lump of clay, a symbol of early death, causing discomfort among the others. She felt a soft wet substance with her fingers and was surprised that nobody spoke or took off her bandage. Not understanding why, Maria feels that she should pick again and eventually touches a Bible, symbolizing a convent life. At the end of the night, Mrs. Donnelly encourages Maria to sing for everyone. Maria sings a famous opera aria, I Dreamt That I Dwelt, written by an Irish 19th century composer. She accidentally repeats the first verse about dreaming of wealth, skipping the second verse about dreams of love and companionship. No one points out her mistake, but Joe seems moved, his eyes welling up with tears, perhaps sensing Maria's hidden sadness. Now let's look at the major themes of Joyce's Clay. Maria's sadness over losing the cake is made worse by the fact that it cost her so much, given her limited income. Despite having little money, she tries to show love to those close to her. There are suggestions that Maria's social standing may have once been higher. For example, the two boys she cared for have done fairly well financially, though they aren't rich. The song she sings, in which she repeats the first verse, is about a woman who loses her wealth. When Joe becomes emotional, it might be because he sees Maria's struggles reflected in the song's story. Maria represents the role of a spinster, a common term for unmarried women past their mid-20s in the 18th and 19th centuries. At that time, such women were often seen as burdens on their families, financially dependent and considered unfit for major household responsibilities. But Maria breaks these expectations. She cares for two boys and works hard in the laundry kitchen, scrubbing pots and resolving conflicts among the women. Maria may also be seen as a fallen woman, someone abandoned by her family and shunned by the Catholic Church for having a child out of wedlock, hinted by her nursing of two boys and losing her financial standing. Maria's life as a single maid is simple and predictable, earning her a reputation as a peacemaker. Her routine defines her, and the warm welcome from the Donnelly family shows that people appreciate her kindness outside of work as well. But despite her quiet life, Maria still feels some frustration. Her life is shaped by routine, with few big experiences or conflicts, so she focuses on small details. She organizes everything carefully, overseeing food at the charity, keeping herself tidy, and planning every moment of her trip to the Donnellys' Halloween evening. Maria thinks this attention to detail will stabilize her, but it often just makes her feel empty. When she loses the plum cake, she's so upset that she nearly cries, reacting strongly to a small mistake. Her focus on little things might be a way of avoiding bigger, unspoken sadness. Joe, too, seems to avoid his emotions. He hides his reaction to Maria's song by asking for a simple household item, as if small distractions can keep bigger feelings at bay. These minor tasks help both Maria and Joe ignore the deeper pains in life. The story's title, Clay, is a nod to the clay that Maria picks in the Halloween game, a symbol of death. But here, it symbolizes a life stuck in a routine, hinting that Maria is living without much meaning. Her laugh, with her face folding into itself, suggests she is soft and moldable, like clay, easily shaped by her surroundings rather than shaping her own life. When Maria later picks a prayer book, it suggests she might consider escaping her life by joining a convent. Either way, part of her will die. She'll either stay in her unfulfilling routine or leave everything familiar for something completely different. Maria's life reflects the state of Ireland. She is poor and largely forgotten, deeply influenced by the Catholic Church, as shown in her dedication to waking early for All Saints' Day Mass. She loses her cake after being distracted by a colonel-looking gentleman, perhaps symbolizing England. Lastly, Maria may not fully realize the significance of her choice in the Hallow Eve game, suggesting a lack of awareness about her fate or symbolic role. Hope you subscribe for more Dubliners stories.